Here's what nobody tells you about people who are always calm. Their brains literally process threat differently than yours. And before you think, oh, they're just born that way, neuroscience says otherwise. In the next 5 minutes, you're going to understand the actual psychology behind unshakable calmness, not personality types, not vibes, the real cognitive mechanisms. And here's why this matters. These aren't fixed traits, they're learnable patterns. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's happening in a calm person's brain that isn't happening in yours. Let's break it down. Calm people have trained their prefrontal cortex to hijack their amygdala before panic sets in. Here's what's actually happening. When you face a stressor, your amygdala, your brain's alarm system, fires first. It's screaming, "Threat!" For most people, that signal dominates. But chronically calm people, their prefrontal cortex intercepts that signal within milliseconds and runs it through a filter. Is this actually dangerous or just uncomfortable? This isn't happening consciously. It's an automatic cognitive reflex they've built over time. Think of it like this. Their brain has a bouncer that checks every emotional reaction at the door before it gets into the club. Stanford researchers found that people who score high on emotional regulation tests show significantly stronger connectivity between their prefrontal cortex and amygdala. It's literally a stronger neural highway. But here's where it gets interesting, and where most people misunderstand calmness entirely. Calm people don't experience less stress. They've rewired what counts as a threat. Most people think calm individuals are just less affected by problems. Wrong. Their stress response still activates. The difference? They've trained their brains to categorize stressors differently. Psychological research calls this cognitive reappraisal. When you get criticized at work, your brain might tag it as social threat, reputation at risk, danger. A calm person's brain tags the same event as data point, information for improvement, neutral. Same event, completely different interpretation. The calm people you know are running that reframe automatically. Flight delayed? That's not "my plans are ruined," it's unexpected free time. Relationship conflict? Not "I'm being attacked," it's "we're gathering information about each other's needs." You're probably thinking, okay, but how do they do this? That's what most videos won't tell you, because the answer isn't what you expect.
Calm people built their tolerance slowly through controlled exposure to discomfort, not by avoiding stress. Here's the paradox. The calmest people you know weren't always calm. They got there by systematically putting themselves in uncomfortable situations where the stakes were low enough that their brain could learn, "This won't kill you." It's called stress inoculation in psychology. Just like vaccine doses train your immune system, small doses of stress train your emotional regulation system. Think about that friend who's calm in social situations. They probably started by volunteering in class once, then joining a small club, then speaking to larger groups. Each exposure taught their amygdala social visibility equals not actually dangerous. The mechanism? Every time you face a stressor and survive it, your brain logs that memory. Eventually, it builds a database. We've handled this before. No emergency response needed. That database becomes your calm. This is why people who've overcome significant challenges often seem unshakable. Their brain's threat database is huge. They've got reference experiences that say, "We've survived worse than this." But, and this is crucial, there's a hidden cost most people don't see. Extreme calmness sometimes comes with reduced emotional peaks in both directions. Here's what the research shows that makes people uncomfortable. Some people who develop exceptional calm also report feeling less intense positive emotions. They've essentially turned down the volume on their entire emotional range, not just the negative. A 2023 study from the University of Toronto found that individuals with the highest emotional regulation scores also reported lower levels of excitement and joy compared to the general population. They're not depressed, they're just even. This isn't universal, but it's a trade-off some people make without realizing it. Their brain learns emotions are unpredictable and can cause problems, so let's dampen all of them. The healthiest calm people manage to keep emotional flexibility. They can access joy, excitement, sadness when appropriate, but they don't get hijacked by panic or rage. That's the sweet spot. Regulated, not suppressed. So remember that brain processing difference we started with? Now you know what's actually happening. A trained prefrontal cortex, automatic threat reframing, systematic stress exposure, and a choice about emotional range. Calm isn't a personality type you're born with. It's a set of cognitive skills you build. If you want to develop this, start small. Pick one low-stakes stressor this week and practice reframing it before you react. Your brain will log that reference experience. Drop a comment with which mechanism surprised you most. And if this hit different than the usual just breathe advice, subscribe. We're breaking down the real psychology, not the fluff.